In terms of the experience, I mean, we're talking about Alice and her tumble down the rabbit hole into Wonderland, and at the heart of it is a young girl who's discovering something in real time, and everything is uncertain. In terms of the project, we were playing around with that idea that everything they're doing is live, it's on the web, it's 24/7, it's forever. But the one question that we can't answer is, what would somebody assume if they found the project randomly? Essentially, they went to Google, typed in Alice, and stumbled upon this. So I thought it'd be interesting for the students and I to talk about what we believe their first assumption would be about this project without context, without really knowing all the rules and being there in person.
I don't think that they necessarily have to like it, but whether they like it or not, there's so much of it that either way, the sheer volume of it will impress them just because we did so much.
I think a person would be surprised at all of our discoveries and surprised that it was 10th graders. I think the quality of our work was much higher than our age.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
A little bit confused by it, because if you haven't read Alice, you don't really know what's going on. It doesn't actually, we never talked about what was going on in the book. It was more about what was like in between the lines. So I think people would have to read Alice first and then go through those blogs to really understand what we were talking about.
I think someone who found it would find it useful. I mean, we didn't plot summarize. We looked at the text and we carefully analyzed every faction of it. We thoroughly explored every facet of Alice, and I think a lot of people did some good work, and so I hope someone who found it would enjoy it.
They probably wouldn't believe that we were sophomores, because I think that they're so deep, and they'd probably be impressed, they'd probably be hooked.
What is this? I think people would be pretty confused at first, but they'd be drawn in by how pretty we made our websites. That depends. If they were looking for something along the lines of Spark Notes, I mean, this would be great. There's a lot of information here. We do summary. We did summary. We summarized everything while at the same time stepping outside the box, making everything from scratch.
I think that they'd be really surprised. Like when they found out that it was 10th graders, they'd probably kind of be shocked. They'd probably think that actually the teacher helped us do all the work, but they really didn't. So that's probably what I would think.
They would be interested in it because a lot of the people, they chose like interesting pictures, and then you could read the titles and they're all crazy because people, like one of my titles, I put the death threats. People might want to know what death threats were and like what the book was about, because it's not exactly the way the Alice in Wonderland, like the Disney movie, is about.
I think if I was an outsider and I didn't know what the project was about, I would be confused but intrigued at the same time, because I think from all of our sites, because of the links that we have on our sites, you can tell it's a school project. So I would want to learn about it, because like if I had never done something like that, it would be really interesting to me to see what it was all about. I think an outsider would see it as something they had never experienced before, and I think that would really interest them.
A little judgmental, because in the beginning I was very judgmental of Alice because she makes some really stupid decisions, like drinking from a bottle that says drink me just because it's not marked poison. But they might find it interesting because I think I made some points, or at least I hope I made some points that they didn't really see when they watched the movie or read the book.
A lot of people did like chapter analysis, and it's mostly about the book, but some people like went out and talked about like how at the end how Alice, it was like all a dream. People like analyze dreams and stuff, so it somewhat goes after the book.
I think that if a person found these accidentally in Google, that they would be really amazed about the project and amazed about how the level and quality of thinking that just a bunch of 10th graders are doing. I'm one of them, and I was amazed myself at just what I could produce. And then, especially when we started working in teams, when I got together with all my teammates and we'd make collective posts, it really was quite amazing. And I've talked to several people that have read all of our blogs on the Alice Project, and they all think they just couldn't believe it was 10th graders, and they wouldn't believe it unless they were told and they could see it for their own eyes.
Blogs on Google, I guess it really depends on age range of what they would think. If I found it, I wouldn't be interested. I just keep going, and But I think older people or teachers, they'd be like, what's this? And they'd go browse through it and find things and probably be shocked at what we've accomplished just being 10th graders. And I doubt people would believe it would actually be 10th graders, but I guess it really depends on the age range of who's discovering it and stuff.
Honestly, I think they would be like, what is this at first? And then I hope that they would look into it more and be inspired by our writings and how we designed it, because we didn't just plot summarize the book, we actually analyzed it and went into it and discovered new things that not a lot of people have, and I would hope they would enjoy reading that and get inspired by it.
I think they would laugh at most of them because many of them have comical aspects in it. And I think if, they have tastes in music or if they have tastes in, cartoons, I think they could find a blog on any of ours that could, to their liking.
Yeah.
I even did one on Louis Vuitton, so if you like fashion or anything.
I'd honestly think they'd be very, very impressed. Just between me and my colleagues and whatnot, we were really shocked at the amount of entries and the quality of the entries that we produced. And anyone, if they stumble upon it accidentally, they're going to learn about Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
I think they would be pretty amazed by the stuff that some people have come up with, and I think they would really see that it's really not just a children's story, and it's a book for everybody, and I think they'll see things inside the story that they never would have seen before if they hadn't have seen the blogs.